Hello, my name is Pedro Mora with Pacific.ca for community television and our website Pacific.ca. We have invited all the candidates for the provincial by-election of Vancouver-Burrard. And today we have Ian McLeod from the BC Conservative Party. And he is going to tell us a little bit more about why he's running a little later on. But first, I have asked him to choose one of the topics on NowPolling.ca and tell us why is it relevant to you and what do you think about that topic. So Ian, can you tell us what is that topic that you picked from NowPolling.ca provincial polls?
Well, I picked the financial column.
Financial, okay.
Yeah.
So which of the subtopics in the financial column did you choose?
Well, I picked provincial income taxes.
Provincial income taxes, okay. Now that poll has some answers there, or not answers, but things that people think are their priorities about personal income tax. And the first one says, should start at poverty line $18,000 and should increase progressively according to income as much as government services need. Mm-hmm. And second one says, don't know. And the third one says, flat taxes at 17%. And the next one says, should be eliminated. And the last one says, should be reduced. Do you like one of those topics?
Yeah, I chose the one that said an exemption for $18,000. So anybody that makes over $18,000 would be taxed, but anybody that makes under $18,000 would be exempt from provincial income tax. And in the BC Conservative platform, they're proposing from raising it from $8,000, which it currently is provincially, to $16,000, because we figure that $8,000 you really can't live on $8,000 in BC, and we need to really help those lower income people. So we want to raise it to $16,000.
All right. So you like the first one. The second part of that, besides $18,000, it says and should increase progressively according to income. Do you agree with that too?
I do agree with that to a certain threshold.
What would be that threshold?
We would eliminate the top two income tax brackets.
Eliminate. Which are what? What are those top two income brackets?
The top two income tax brackets are the two highest. I believe it's like 22%, and the other one's 17%. We would eliminate those and then put people at a tax rate of 15% as the maximum.
You would lower income tax for people that earn more than $200,000 or so.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You want to give a break to those who make more money? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we think that those taxes are too high, and also we think that the lower income people need help as well.
Mm-hmm. But you're giving a break to the top brackets, you're saying?
We are, yes. Yeah. But how we pay for it is we would eliminate corporate welfare and pork barrel spending projects. For example, the BC Liberals and the NDP supported building the RAV line from downtown Vancouver to Richmond. That cost taxpayers $2 billion. Yes. Now, we wanted to have a West Coast Express style line going through Kerrisdale along East Boulevard, and there's an existing railway track there, and it would have cost taxpayers at most probably $200 million.
So, a fraction of that.
A fraction, 10% of the cost. But I asked the NDP, I asked the BC Liberals, I said, why don't you just do it this way? And they said, first of all, the people in Kerrisdale don't want it. Second of all, you want a fancier system. You want to show off to the world. Well, I don't care about showing off to the world. I want a good transportation system for the people that live in the Lower Mainland.
That's right. All right. I think we have covered that issue. We know where you stand, and people can vote or not vote for you according to what your position is. Now, I have another choice here, which is on the electoral issue, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but under term of office, there is a question that says best term of office to increase MLA's accountability is, and then people have put a few answers to it, or their opinion on it. And the first one says voters' right to perpetual electoral system, in brackets, no term of office. Some people have voted for that one. You see, people have the ability to put their own opinion there.
Sure.
And some opinions are a little bit unclear to me. So, the theme here is what would be the best term of office for an MLA to be most accountable? So, which one would you choose?
Well, I think we should have effective recall, and I think anytime the people in that riding want to recall a candidate, they should be able to do it. And if the candidate does break a promise and say that they campaigned in favor of this issue, and then once they got to Victoria, they went against their constituents. Our party believes in not party politics, but reflecting the will of your constituency. So if we had 10 MLAs in our party and most of the MLAs were in favor of this issue, but my constituents weren't, I would reflect the will of my constituents and vote accordingly. And we need to have effective recall. Right now, we don't have effective recall. In the last 20 years, people have been very unhappy with their MLAs. They've tried to recall them, but it's so hard to recall it under the present system, and no MLA has been successfully recalled in British Columbia in 20 years.
So how would you make more effective that recall legislation that already exists, but people are basically unable to use it? How would you make it more accessible to people?
Well, you'd put teeth in the law. You wouldn't let these politicians get off on technicalities. There's a lot of loopholes in this present act right now. And also I would lower the threshold for collecting signatures.
Right. Right now it's 40%.
40%, which is very, very high.
That's right. Yeah. And when you go to vote for a candidate, you don't need 40% signatures to allow you to vote.
No.
So when you want to take your vote back, which is recalled, why do you need any percent?
Exactly.
Why shouldn't you be able to do it by yourself?
Correct.
Especially with the aid of computers now, similar to what we have in NowPolling.ca. The government, with a lot more money than we have, they could develop a system where they can have a perpetual listing of politicians. So you can go and have your electoral day whenever you want. You go to a public library, you put your card in, like an ATM machine, and you can recall your candidate whenever you want, without having to go and look for 40% of approval.
That is correct, and that's a very, very good idea. They should also have that system, that computerized system you were talking about, for issues as well. So if an issue is coming up in BC and they want to increase taxes, or they want to bring more pork barrel spending projects, then my constituents could register for that, vote accordingly, and then I would look at that and I would reflect the will of my constituents.
Do you see that same thing on NowPolling.ca? The idea is there that you can vote for issues.
Exactly, yeah.
You are not given an answer. You're able to put your own answer and vote for it. And if most people agree with it, then that's what the politicians should be doing.
Exactly.
So if you were elected, an MLA, would you go to the Legislative Assembly in Victoria and say, this is what we should have? Because right now the Liberal government is saying, we're going to have a referendum to ask you whether you want electoral reform, STB or not. And what I hear you saying is, what we need is good recall legislation.
Good recall.
We need to improve that. But that's not in the cards. We cannot vote for it. So would you, if you were elected, would you go to not Parliament but Legislative Assembly and demand that they put that question as well? Should we recall politicians? Should that be mechanized in the way that people are able to use it?
I would support that personally. I think that would be a good idea, and politicians need to be held accountable.
All right.
No worries.